Landscape drawing rules. In our first lesson, we learned two basic rules. Objects that are closer to us are big and they're lower on the page. Objects that are farther away from us are smaller and they're higher up on the page. Look at the picture on the top right corner. Notice that the objects closer to us are overlapping objects behind them. An atmospheric perspective, which means that those mountains in the background appear lighter in color than the mountains that are more in front. For today's demonstration, I'm going to draw two pictures of the same image. The image on the left will be in black and white. The image on the right will be in color. You can choose which demonstration you want to draw along with. If you want to use only black and white, you can follow along with the first part of the demonstration, which is the drawing on the left that I'm working on now. If you want to use colors like crayons, markers, colored pencils, or even paint, you can follow along with the demonstration on the right. I will always start with the demonstration in black and white. To draw this tree, I'm starting with the trunk, so smaller on the top, getting wider on the bottom. But this time I'm using a zigzag or a squiggly line going down the trunk. This might make the tree look a little bit more naturalistic, a little more like what we might see in nature. But it's just a faster way to draw this kind of a tree. I'm adding the horizon line. So this line is going to show where the mountains start in the picture, and it's going to help us understand where the ground meets the mountains in the picture. So I'm adding another tree using that same zigzaggy line technique. This tree looks like it's farther in the distance because it's a smaller tree higher up on the page. It's not starting at the bottom of the page like the other tree, which looks bigger and looks closer to us. I'm trying not to make my zigzag line too much the same, so I'm making some branches go out farther, some branches go in closer to the trunk to make it look a little more imperfect like nature. I'm adding a tree behind it. So I'm using the third rule of our landscape drawing rules. I'm showing overlap. So the tree that I'm drawing now looks like it's behind the tree that I started with. I'm adding more of a heavy color to some of these trees to make them stand out a little more and to make the trees in front look a little darker, look a little more natural. Objects that are closer to us are going to be a little more dark in color. Objects that are far away are going to look lighter in color. That's called atmospheric perspective. And it's called that because the effect that the atmosphere has on the things we see in the distance. So it's sort of like you see the mist or air kind of overlapping the tree. Now I'm adding several small trees in the background of the picture. They're still going to be in front of the mountains that I draw, but I want to show that this forest has more than just 3 trees in it, and that it's a little more of a natural looking image. By natural, I mean people haven't come to settle on this land. It's like a forest. So I'm adding trees sort of randomly in the picture so it doesn't look like a row of trees. If you want to put your trees in rows, you can. I'm just making sure that it looks natural, where trees in front would be bigger and overlap the trees behind them. I'm adding zigzag lines to create the mountain shapes behind these trees. I'm adding 3 layers of mountains to make it look like a very full picture. Plus, I have a lot of sky on my picture, so I can fill it up a little bit. I'm using purple in the picture on the colorful side. Mountains can be any color, basically, that is reflective of the sky. So if there's snow on the mountain, then that's going to reflect the sky colors. If it's a mountain that doesn't have snow on it, it's probably going to be earth colors: brown, gray, black, tan, sometimes orange. So you can be creative with the colors of your mountain. Using the atmospheric perspective rule, the mountains that are farthest away from us, the ones that are on the top layer, I'm making those a lighter shade of gray. Things far away are going to be lighter. Things closer are going to be darker. So to show shades of darker or lighter gray, I'm pressing harder to make a darker color, pressing a lot lighter to make a lighter color. I'm using the same purple crayon for this whole demonstration, coloring lightly on the top layer to show the atmospheric perspective, where things that are far away are going to be lighter in color. That's the effect that the atmosphere or the air has on the things we see in the distance. It makes things appear lighter, and when you get closer to them, they appear darker in color. Using the same purple and pressing harder on the second layer so you can see more of the darker purple color. And on the layer in the front, mountains closer to us, I can press a lot harder with my crayon. When I get down toward the trees, I am releasing some of the pressure, so it sort of looks like a little bit of a mist toward the bottom of the mountains. I'm mostly doing that to not cover up the trees that I put down there. So as I'm coloring this bottom layer, I'm getting lighter in pressure as I color toward the bottom of that mountain toward the trees. I don't want to cover up the work that I just did. The last step would be to color in the sky. I'm not going to color in the sky on the black and white image, but you could add a little bit of color if you wanted to have a difference of black and white versus color, or you could add some details in black and white like a sun or clouds. On the colorful picture, I'm adding a couple of different colors to blend together to make a little bit of a more interesting sky than just blue. So I added yellow toward the bottom of the sky, the mountains area, blending in the blue and the yellow to make it seem a little bit like it's approaching sunset for this scene. If you are in class and you finish your picture, please show your picture during our meeting so you can get credit right away. If you are doing this assignment outside of our meeting time, please turn it into Google Classroom. You will go to the assignment, click Add or Create, click Drawing, go to Insert, Image, Camera, take a photo of your drawing, and then click Turn in on the assignment page.